Hi everyone, this is Nick from the Digital Arts Experience, and I'm going to show you how to make a character going in a little bit more detail on what to do using D&D Beyond. So I'm going to assume you already have an account. If you don't, go ahead and pause it and set it up now. So we're going to go over to Collections and My Characters, and we're going to go over to Create a Character once again. And I'm going to go ahead with Standard. If you feel you need a little bit more help, they do have help text, so don't be afraid to turn this on if you need it. I'm going to go ahead and click on Standard. All right, so there's a lot of stuff on this page. Essentially, this is going to control where information is pulled from. D&D takes place across many universes with many different rules, and it's going to change your character sheet slightly. For the most part, you can leave these defaults as they are. For starters, at the top here, I'm going to just leave this. I like to name my character at the very end. If you need a little help coming up with a character, Fantasy Name Generators is a It is a fantastic place to go. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Wow, my internet is slowing down. In any event, it's a really cool site. I definitely encourage you to check it out. There we go. It finally loaded. Yay. All right, let's come back over here. So for most part, you can leave this on default. Sources, you can look at Magic the Gathering and Eberron content. Advancement type, we're going to leave on milestone. Your DMs will tell you when your characters level up. Usually this is due to a story point. Hit point type, this is where you can choose. Personally, for me, I prefer manual. I like to roll my dice to see how much HP I get. But if you want a fixed amount each time, go ahead with fixed. For me, I'm going to choose manual. Prerequisites, you do want to keep prerequisites on. You are going to need those for specific feats and multi-class requirements. If you turn these off, you can kind of automatically set things up. If you're usually doing homebrew stuff or custom things, you want to turn these off, but we'll keep these on. Show level scaled spells, that's fine. Encumbrance, we're going to turn this off, no encumbrance. These are special rules where if you have too much equipment, you actually slow down. We don't use that for our game, so that's fine. We don't have to worry about coin weight because we're not worrying about encumbrance. We can keep modifiers on top. This is just going to change how your sheet is displaying information. And again, this is up to you, but I prefer to set my characters to private, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. So you can give your options another look over, but if you're satisfied, we can click on the next button. So here we get to choose our race. And just like with a quick build, this is going to let us choose what type of character we have. In this case, I've apparently clicked on a Goliath, who's a very strong and reclusive character. You can basically read up on the racial traits, see where you're going to get extra stats, read up on their extra abilities. There are a bunch to choose from here. I'm just going to go with the Goliath because that's what I landed on, and I'm going to choose race. Now from here, this is automatically going to add these things to your sheet, so we're good there. We're going to click on the next button. Here we're going to click on class. Again, your class is essentially your job, and because we're doing the step-by-step, it's going to give you a breakdown of what everything looks like. It's going to give you a description of the character, what your hit die is. This is basically going to determine how much HP you get every time you level up. Primary abilities, saves, which relate to your saving throws. Go ahead and watch our other videos on the archive about that. And a couple other options for you to go through. I'm not going to go through every single option for the character creation. One, you might as well buy the book for that or reference the new player guide. This is just a step-by-step for creating your character. So you are going to have to go through and read these. I'm not going to do that for you because that's going to create a long and boring video. So to speed this up, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go with, just for fun, I'm going to go with Ranger. Okay, great. So when you get to this page, you can choose your proficiencies, in this case for the Ranger, favorite enemy, and natural explorer. Basically, this page is going to tell you what options you get to pick. Now, if you already know what level you're supposed to be at, let's say you're jumping into one of our campaigns midway, you can go ahead and set this now. So in this case, I'm going to set it to level 3 just for this example, and you can see that I have extra options now. If you're at a higher level, you're going to go ahead and set that. Now for this, I'm going to choose my proficiencies. So I'm going to say that I am good at nature, stealth, and animal handling. So once I've filled everything out, the icon over here is going to disappear. Again, if you need to read up more on the skills, you can go over to the new player guide. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Favored enemy, I'm going to choose... I'm going to say my character is not a huge fan of dragons. So we're going to go with Draconic, and I'm going to go with dragons. Those sneaky, sneaky dragons. Natural Explorer. I'm going to say that mountains are my favorite terrain. Fighting style. So I'm going to go with... let's say dueling. And spellcasting, second level ability. I'm going to go over to spells in a second. Ranger archetype. I'm going to go with Hunter. And Hunter's Prey. I'm going to say Colossal Slayer is a good one. Ooh, Giant Killer. Ooh. Ooh, that's when a large or larger creature within 5 feet of you hits or... Okay, interesting. So, again, you can read up on all of these in the new player's guide. Again, it's going to take forever for me to go through all of the details. But worst comes to worst, pick something that sounds awesome. You can always have fun, and you can always talk with your DM about adjusting it later. Worst comes to worst, you can always create a new character once you get your sort of... For a worst case scenario, and worst saying, you sort of find your D&D legs, so to speak. All right, so if you're doing spells, you'll come over here to the spell list, which I don't get spells yet, apparently. That looks like it's at later levels. So we'll click Next. So over here, we've got our abilities. So I've covered stats before. Go ahead and watch that video in the archive if you haven't. And over here, we're going to go ahead and if you want something simple, you can go with the standard array, which basically gives you a score from 8 to 15, and you can assign these. Basically, the higher the number, the better your ability score is going to be, and the better you're going to do on that roll. So because I'm a ranger, chances are I'm going to be pretty good at dexterity. I'll put a 12 in strength. I do want my constitution to be high. Intelligence, I'll say, is 10. Wisdom's a little bit more important, and I'll say I'm not very charismatic. Again, if you're interested in what stats are going to be more beneficial to you, you can go over to the new player's guide and see what they recommend. So just as a quick example... Come on, D&D Beyond. Let's go ahead and load. D&D Beyond. Okay, here we go. Creating a character, and we want to choose a class. So, for example, the Ranger, where are you hiding? Here we are. So, Ranger, primary abilities are Dexterity and Wisdom. So, you probably want to put the skills in those areas. Here we are. Which I sort of didn't do that. I put Dexterity a little bit higher. But I do want to make sure I'm pretty healthy, so that was a choice on my end, but you don't have to do that. Totally up to you. You can also do this with the point buy system. So essentially what you can do is you can spend points to increase the score over here. So you can see that as you spend more points, you'll be able to allocate different amounts to everything. So you can basically try and balance this out. So you can see I actually ended up with a little bit more in charisma because I didn't boost up other areas. So this is a little confusing, but it will basically, you can try and mix and match things a little bit more. And then there's the manual system. This is done a little bit more on the honor system, but basically the way this works is you roll 4d6 and you add up the three lowest, or the three highest numbers. I'll demonstrate that really quickly. I'm not going to go through it all. So let's go over, I need a dice roller. So I'm going to get 4d6. I'm going to let those generate and I'll roll. So here I've got 4, 3, which makes 7, and adding 2 is a 9. So if I was doing my build over here, I'm going to put 9 in strength. I'm going to roll again. Okay, 6 and 5 give me 11, and 14 gives me a 15. So I'm going to put that in dexterity. And you can see as you put in these numbers, it's automatically going to generate your modifiers. But basically, that's what you do. You go ahead and take 4d6 or 4 6-sided dice, go ahead and roll them, and then you punch those in for each of your attributes. If you get a really lousy number for important ones, you can mix and match these. Like, for example, if I got a 9 dexterity and a 15 in strength, generally we allow players to switch those around. Not a huge deal. Just to speed this up, I'm going to say I've got 12 here, 14 here, 14 here, and I'm going to say 12 over here. So once you've gone ahead and gone through the system of setting up your ability scores, you're going to go over to your description. So this is where you can choose a background. This is sort of like what you did before you found yourself on your current journey. In my case, I'm going to go with a I'm going to go with soldier, I guess. And again, you can choose more proficiencies in here, which is essentially where your skills are. Apparently, I get to choose a gaming set for this. Military rank, suggested characteristics. Oh, this is interesting. So this is a background feature that you can use in game. But suggested characteristics, these are suggestions on how to roleplay your character. You can either choose randomly or you can add it, but this is entirely optional. You don't have to do this, and you don't have to adhere to it in-game at all. Okay, then you can also put in physical characteristics, personal... oh, these are suggested characteristics. These are personal characteristics. Sorry, I'm going really fast here. Again, these are suggestions for role playing, and you can choose or add them at random. Again, it's totally up to you. But once we're done with that, you can choose your starting equipment. Generally, you don't have any magic items to start off with. That's fine. I usually prefer to choose equipment for a start. So you can choose what type of equipment you get. In this case, I'm going to go with leather armor. I'm going to go with two short swords. I'll go with the Dungeoneer pack, and then you'll see what's actually listed in there. Oh, and this is soldier starting equipment. I will say a broken blade and a set of bone dice. And I will say, and you get some GP from that as well. So I'll hit add starting equipment. And it will do that automatically. Once that is done, you can click on next, and now we can finally view the character sheet. It's going to do some more thunking. And now you have your finished character. Of course, I actually need to name him. I didn't do that earlier, so we'll go to edit character real quick. I think it was under, no, it was under home. So we will name this character, I will name him Dearth. Dearth of Bagtown. I have no idea where Bagtown is, but that's okay. So now we can click on back on the sheet, and that should be updated. Yes, we have Dearth of Bagtown. So we've got all our stats, we've got all our stuff loaded in here, and we're good to go. So if I went a little too quickly, feel free to pause the video and run it back. Again, if you need a little bit of help figuring where things are or what everything is, you can go to the new player guide, and feel free to reach out to me at nick@thedae.com. That's NICK@THEDAE.com. I'd be more than happy to help you set up before a game. Just bear with me. I have a lot of emails to get through usually. So with that said, we've gone ahead and set up our character. If you want to export out a PDF, you've got that option over here. You can always edit the character. And like I said, we are more than happy to help. So that was our little video on creating a character with more details for D&D Beyond. Again, there's many more things to setting up a character, so don't stress it too much if you don't know what everything is. This will come with experience and time. So thank you for joining me. At some point, I do plan on creating a tutorial where we actually create a character using the book, and I'll show you my general process for that, how to do it manually if that's of interest, so please let me know. But for now, we are done, and I look forward to seeing you at the tables. See ya!